Years since you first suited up here in Nashville, and what kind of take me back through that process of what it was like when you figured out you were coming to Nashville.
Well, I mean, when I got traded after about 4 games or so, and at first getting traded to Nashville, I didn't realize, hockey wasn't really a big thing here. So coming into an environment where, growing up in Vancouver, where hockey is like, it's all people are thinking all the time, to an environment of teaching and trying to grow the sport was something that I wasn't used to. And but I guess in hindsight, in being in Phoenix, we were doing the same thing. So it really gave me personally an opportunity to play with players, try to be one of the leaders, get an opportunity to play, and get out on that ice and prove myself once again as an older player. But it was, Mr. Boyle was excellent at making everyone feel at home. One thing about the Predators, no matter what your role is on the team, you feel very important, from your top player to the players sitting out. I think that's something that I'll never forget, that the team concept of Barry Trotz was huge. And I think that's why they are a successful team. They don't always get, obviously they have a player like a Seth Jones and these young talents, and you can look at some other players that they have, but for the most part, early on, we were a lot of players that I guess other teams didn't want. Let's face it. And so we had to prove ourselves. And having a good captain in Fitzgerald really was an unselfish player, and he really helped everybody understand that we're this environment and we're going to make this work. And I think what was real exciting was our team actually started winning games, and when we finally beat Detroit, who was the obviously upper echelon of all teams, and beat them quite handily. We actually outskated them, outworked them. That day was a very special day. I'm sure it was for the coaching staff, but for the players, I think we realized, with hard work, it can pay off.
Take me back to opening night. What were you expecting in the environment here, and how did that live up to your expectations?
Well, I mean, the one thing about the Predators, no matter, I guess, not just what's going on the ice, it's an unbelievable show. It's an unbelievable environment. In fact, if you go around the league, they all talk about what the Nashville Predators do for games. It's an exciting place to go to a game, take your kids to a game, take business people to a game, and I think that's the excitement. And then the game, they have players that can make a big difference, but also they're playing against some huge superstars. So I think for the biggest thing was the environment, the people, how friendly people are here, always draws me back.
Barry Trotz has grown into, he's obviously the longest tenured coach in the NHL now. What was he like when he was kind of first getting into the league? What kind of style did he have? Because this was the first NHL job he's ever taken.
Barry Trotz is a coach that can get the best out of his team. It's always team first. He hasn't had, I guess, the luxury of some of these other teams that have, the top 6 forwards, playing in the NHL. He's had to have different players and make them better athletes, make them better players. And a lot of times it's scoring by committee. I know for myself, it was fun. It was a pleasure to play for him. He was very honest, straightforward. The way I look with Barry Trotz was, he didn't say a lot to you, but you had to come to play. That was one thing. As long as you showed up to play, he would leave you alone. But if you didn't show up to play, he could usually tell within the first 3 shifts, you'd know if you were going to be playing that night. So you wanted to show him that you were ready to play.
You kind of spoke to this already, but in the early years, I mean, you were part of the core, Tom was, and chemo team and stuff like that. Did you guys play with maybe an extra chip on your shoulder, knowing that maybe you guys are kind of an underdog almost every night?
Yeah, I think we knew we were the underdogs, and I think we all enjoyed it. Me being, 5'7", all my life I was an underdog playing at guys 6'7", but to me I like that, so I was used to it. maybe for some of the other guys, they weren't as much as I was. But you look at guys like Scott Walker, another player that was an underdog and really went on to have a great career. He fought his way there. He worked hard. It's exciting looking back to see the guys that have played for the Predators, that they even went on maybe to other teams and still succeeded and took that hard work, that work hard attitude, and be the underdog and performed well. So I think it really holds well for the organization. Obviously, Mr. Poyle is a class act. It's not easy to say that even when you get traded, but he's such a nice person and means well. And when stuff went on with me, it was more of a business decision. And personally, I respect him and everything he's done. And he does whatever he can to make his team better. And I think the players really respect him. And I think that the people of Nashville really have that feel for him.
15 years later, this market's it's grown a lot as far as on the ice and even off the ice. Just looking at it now, how much different is it now than when you first started back 15 years ago?
Well, I think the biggest thing I noticed flying in, the city's changed. The city's getting bigger, a bigger feel, restaurants, more variety. I remember, before there's like 2 or 3 restaurants that players would all go to. Now you have so many different places to go. There's so much happening. It's an exciting place to be. Obviously, with country music, they've embraced hockey and they've helped the hockey grow, and that's exciting. Obviously, Vince Gill and Garth Brooks, and when I was playing here, they did wonders for the acknowledgement of what a great game hockey is.
Since you retired, can you kind of just take me what you've been up to since you retired and what you've been doing?
Well, I mean, I've always been that guy that loved playing the game. That'll never get out of me. I still play today, almost 50, and I love putting on my skates and playing. Right now, I enjoy watching my son play junior hockey. He's a young, good hockey player. But also I have a company that makes hockey sticks. We manufacture hockey sticks out of Mexico, and we custom fit, much like golf clubs. And that's where it all started, was at Legends when I was there watching actually women getting fitted for golf clubs. I'm thinking, well, maybe hockey should go this route. So I started a company with a friend that has been making sticks for 20 years, Ron Kunisaki, and our company's called Base Hockey. But not just that, making sticks, we're doing gloves. Or also, the biggest thing is what I enjoy is we're teaching kids how to shoot properly using high-speed cameras and passing on knowledge, I guess, that I learned and learned from other players that can help the younger kids get better, and maybe they get that chance. I think that's something that I enjoy always passing on, is the knowledge that I learned, and it's a fun part of it.
Do you ever see coaching in your future?
I would love to be in coaching. I've coached kids, bantam and that. I just, right now I have a daughter that's 10, and so another year or two, I think that's something that I'm always staying involved in the game. Coaching is something I love. Depending on what levels it's at, I would think it's something. When you love something, it's easy. You're showing up to the rink, doing what you like, putting time in. It's obviously something that has definitely crossed my mind many times, and it's probably a matter of time, and I'll be doing something like that.